Look Outreach is underwritten by the generous support of Munter Enterprises. Family owned and operated since 1972, integrity is important, as our family name is on every project. Our word is our bond. Munter Enterprises. Just build it.
Exceptional products, expert design, experienced professionals. An American Buildings Company authorized builder can turn your dream of a new building into a reality. Because ABC Builders are local contractors, they know your market and can handle your project from beginning to end. So if you're ready today, your ABC Builder is building tomorrow.
Call Munter Enterprises, 518-584-6174.
As I mentioned yesterday, the upcoming interview contained a lot of information. So instead of editing it, we decided to give it to you in two parts. Here's part two. There are two issues in Queensbury that we want to talk about. One is the airport, and the other is the environment. Let's go to the environment first. There's been some work done on Glen Lake in particular, right? I know there's work being done in Lake George, but Glen Lake seems to have a specific problem that you've been working on.
Well, we've met with the DEC Region 5 several times recently. I'd say in the last year. We've met 3 times. And what we're trying to do is work with the DEC to develop a management plan that will not only control, you're never going to get rid of it, but control or manage the invasive species, specifically milfoil. And at the same time, you want to encourage the development of your local native plants.
Yes, sir.
So what we've been doing is we've been getting the chemical controls into Glen Lake a little bit later than we've been comfortable with, and we believe that that may have attacked some of the native plants as well.
Right, that's what we heard. There was actually quite a bit of controversy about that. People thought that too many chemicals were being put in. It was killing off the native plants and also some of the fish, too. We heard that as well.
Well, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the chemical treatments in lesser amounts and more specific areas and earlier in the season, because milfoil is a plant that grows early. The native plants tend to grow later. So if we get the milfoil and then not attack the native plants, give them and encourage them to grow, we want to get the natural diversity of Glen Lake back up to snuff, and so that the fish and everything else, the birds that feed on the fish, everything is depends on that.
Yeah, of course it does.
So we're going to do the treatment earlier, we're going to do less of it, and we're going to do more mechanical. In other words, hand pulling, vacuum pulling, and things like that of the specific invasive species, for the most part milfoil. So we're going to go with this plan, and every year going to take a look, how is it affecting the native population versus how is it, are we effective in managing milfoil? Every year we're going to get together with DEC, analyze what we're doing, and do what is the healthiest thing for Glen Lake. But Glen Lake, if you've been on it lately, has never looked healthier.
Yeah,
I mean, the algae blooms are down, the clarity is good, so Glen Lake is coming around. And what we're doing is has been good, but we just want to do it better.
Yeah, you know what? In a situation like this, it's definitely a balancing act. And Glen Lake is a very densely populated lake for the size of the lake. A lot of people live on Glen Lake, so it's not an easy balance to strike. John, the other topic is one that I get asked about almost weekly, airport expansion.
All right. Well, we can do Lake George too later, but airport expansion.
Yeah, let's talk about the expansion.
Warren County Airport currently has a 5,000-foot runway.
Right.
5,000-foot runway is not enough for the business jets. The fastest growing sector of the aviation industry is the business jet industry.
Right, makes sense.
And you don't have to stay in the United States. You can go to Canada, you can go to Mexico, you can go to the Middle East, and you're going to see the business jet industry is the fastest growing sector of the aviation world.
Yes.
Now, if you want to better accommodate business jets, and I believe that you do want to do that because business jets bring the capital, they bring the people, men and women that have the expertise to make things happen in terms of industry, in terms of business. But the business jets are also being used as commuter airlines. They're also being used for freight. They're being used for just about everything. So let's take an airplane that I love to own, a Gulfstream 650.
I'll take one.
A Gulfstream 650 can carry up to 19 passengers, but at standard temperature and pressure, with a full load, it requires a runway of 5,850 feet. Now, can business jets use a 5,000-foot runway? Yes, they can, with half fuel loads, with half of their payload. In other words, they can't fully utilize their full capabilities with a 5,000-foot runway. You add 1,000 feet to the runway, bingo, you have it. And that's why Dr. David Schwanker is taking record of that. He's come over with over 200 airports have gone to the 6,000-foot runway.
Yeah, right.
So if a 6,000-foot runway, just adding another 1,000 foot to our runway, is going to open up many doors in the future, then why don't we go with it? And I'm talking about the doors that are going to bring good jobs. I mean, we're always talking about, I don't want my son or daughter to leave Glens Falls or Queensbury area to go someplace else for work. I'd rather, why don't we have the good jobs here? Well, then put the money into the extending the runway and make it more accommodating for business jets. Not only that, but you're talking about 90% of that's paid with a federal fund. It's not taxes, it comes from a fee charged from users of airports, and it's on your airplane ticket. The other 5%, New York State's going to cover, so 5% is left for Warren County to pay for. And that averages to something, all the expenses, the runway expansion, the environmental review, everything would come to less than $7 a person. At one time, $7 a person, that's it. And you have a runway that will open all kinds of doors of opportunity.
You know what, I looked into this as well, because we've had people on with different opinions. And what they point to is that Saratoga's runway, which is shorter than Warren County's, accommodates all those jets for people that come in to go to the track and whatever in the summer. But the point that John's making is very well taken. That difference between 3,800 feet and 5,000 feet is not a difference that really appeals to the owners of these jets that we're talking about. They really need that distance between 5,000 and 6,000 to be able to do what you were just saying. Carry a full load of fuel, a full payload, or a full passenger list,
well,
right?
Like I said, the Gulfstream 650.
That's right.
At standard temperature and pressure, because if it gets hotter or the density of the air isn't as dense, then the airfoils of the airplanes. And that's another thing about business jets. The wings are designed for performance and fuel efficiency.
Right.
They need the longer runways.
That's right.
And sure, I could take a business jet with half fuel, practically empty, and use a 5,000-foot runway. But that's not what is going to accommodate the future business jet world.
Yeah, I know. Well, John, thank you so much. Boy, you sure feel passionate about that one. I can tell.
I do. I think it's very important to the economy and the future of our county.
Are you going to run again?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so November is going to be a big election for you.
Yes, it will be.
Well, John, thank you so much for taking the time to come in and explaining it the way you just did, okay?
Well, thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome. And I'll see, aren't you the guy in the Queensbury Town Board meeting?
Yes.
Thanks, John. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.
Look Outreach is underwritten by the generous support of Munter Enterprises. Family owned and operated since 1972, integrity is important, as our family name is on every project. Our word is our bond. Munter Enterprises. Just build it.
Exceptional products, expert design, experienced professionals. An American Buildings Company authorized builder can turn your dream of a new building into a reality. Because ABC Builders are local contractors, they know your market and can handle your project from beginning to end. So if you're ready today, your ABC Builder is building tomorrow.
Call Munter Enterprises, 518-584-6174.